Now, I've been putting this video off for a little while now because I believe that eventually the New York Rangers would figure it out. At some point, this team is going to get together and they're going to start winning games, but that's not the case. But instead, this team is losing more games than before. They're currently one of the worst teams in the NHL, and there is really no reason that the New York Rangers should be one of the worst teams in the NHL with the amount of talent on this team. Like, at the end of the day, you have Igor Shesterkin in between the pipes, one of the best goalies in the league. Granted, he is injured right now and he's going to be out for a while, and that is certainly hurting the Rangers. But outside of Igor Shesterkin, you have Artem Panarin, you have Will Cooley, you have Vincent Trocheck, you have JT Miller. Zibanejad, definitely not the player he used to be, but let's not act like he's a fourth line guy. He can still contribute a little bit. When it comes to the defense, Gavrikov's a decent defenseman, Adam Fox is still a great player, granted he's hurt as well, and Braden Schneider, he can definitely play his role, and Will Borgren, he's a stick on the ice legend, so he has that going for him. But this Rangers team continues to be a disappointment, and they continue to be an absolute dumpster fire. And this next sentence I'm going to say, I never thought I would say in my life. I never thought I would say these words, but here we go. The New York Rangers are a bigger dumpster fire than the Buffalo Sabres. I said it. I finally said it. The Rangers are a bigger dumpster fire than the Buffalo Sabres. The Buffalo Sabres, they were a dumpster fire for a long time, but they're slowly starting to figure it out. The New York Rangers, they're a bigger dumpster fire than the Buffalo Sabres are right now. This team has just completely collapsed, and we got to change things up. So I'm going to trade every player on the New York Rangers except for Igor Shesterkin, because Igor Shesterkin, he's done everything he can with this team. He has stepped up time and time again. The rest of the team hasn't stepped up in front of him, so I don't feel it's right to trade Igor Shesterkin away. He has done everything he can for this franchise, so Igor Shesterkin, you're going to be sticking around. Meanwhile, the rest of the New York Rangers team, everyone's going to be traded. Now, of course, when I say everyone's going to be traded, that includes players in the AHL. I am trading every player in the New York Rangers system except for Igor Shesterkin. Now, obviously, there's a handful of guys that have no movements on the team, so I gave them modified no trade clauses. Like a guy like Artem Panarin, I wasn't able to move him, but now that I've given him a modified no trade, we are going to be able to move him. Now, I gave him a 29 team no trade, so that means we can ship him out to 3 teams: the Blackhawks, the Red Wings, and the San Jose Sharks. I think the Red Wings are the only team that makes the slightest bit of sense here. San Jose and Chicago, absolutely not. So we have a lot of trades to make in front of us. A lot of players have to be moved. So I think I've done enough yapping to begin this video. Let's start making trades. So here's what we're looking at for trade number 1. Now, I want to point out this video is not going to be realistic. Like, look at the first trade we're making. Panarin and Jonathan Quick for Evanson, Lucas Raymond, Sebastian Cossa, a second and third rounder. What about this trade is realistic? Nothing. Nothing about this trade is realistic, but I'm perfectly fine with that. Because at the end of the day, we're bringing in a handful of really good players that are definitely going to help this team. Of course, we do have to trade some of the AHL guys, so that's what we're going to do in this deal. Instead of giving up a 7th round pick, Brendan Othman, you're going to be shipped out. And just like that, our first trade is complete. Artem Panarin, thank you for the years in New York, but it's time for us to move on. Now, while we go ahead and try to figure out what our next trade is going to be, if your team is currently better than the New York Rangers right now, then make sure you subscribe to the channel. Unfortunately, as a St. Louis Blues fan, I can't even subscribe to my own channel, but if you're a fan of any of the 26 NHL teams that are currently ahead of the New York Rangers, then make sure you subscribe to the channel. So we're moving on to our next deal, and that one's going to be completed with the Boston Bruins. Vinny Trocheck and Carson Soucy are going to be sent over. Morgan Geekie's being brought in. We have to put a bit more respect on Morgan Geekie's name. Make him a higher overall than an 85. At the very minimum, he has to be an 86. I mean, an 86 or an 87. I wouldn't go too much higher than an 87, but I think we can make Morgan Geekie an 86 overall. He's deserved it with what he's played this season. Mason Lowry's also going to be brought in, as well as Matt Poitras. I think this is a great deal for us. We get 3 great players that are going to play some big roles on this team. I'm definitely not going to complain about that trade. Now, we're looking to move on from Adam Fox next, and when it comes to the 3 teams he's willing to be traded to, the Chicago Blackhawks, Detroit Red Wings, and San Jose Sharks. The same 3 teams that Artem Panarin was willing to be traded to. So we're going to send Adam Fox over to the Chicago Blackhawks. Lev Shinov, Alex Vlasic, Ryan Donato, and 2 second-round picks are going to be brought in. We're going to give up 2 AHL players in this deal as well, but I think this is a great deal for us. If we can't get 2 second-round picks, how about you just give us 1? They're saying it's a little bit low. We're definitely getting this deal done. So I'll throw in Taylor Radish to make the difference here, and then we'll be able to get this deal done. Chicago's going to be accepting. I like that deal a ton. Now, if there's any Montreal Canadiens fans watching this video right now, I would like to apologize, because what you are about to witness is going to hurt you. It's going to hurt you deep inside. JT Miller for Cole Caulfield, 1 for 1. That's what we're doing. We are picking up Cole Caulfield for JT Miller. Not a single Montreal Canadiens fan would be okay with this. Like, literally every Montreal Canadiens fan would hate this deal. Unfortunately, that's just the way she goes. We're making a deal like this. I'll throw Gabe Pro in the deal. Maybe he can make the difference, and it looks like he is. We just picked up Cole Caulfield. Every Montreal fan is currently rioting in the streets. Now, throughout my years of rebuilding teams and doing a challenge like this, I have never run into this issue. Lafreniere, you are almost untradeable. I have offered Lafreniere to about 8 different NHL teams so far, and so far basically every team doesn't want to take on his contract because they're saving money for the re-sign phase. So we have to use Trade Finder, and what we're going to do in Trade Finder is trade Lafreniere for Vince Dunn, a 3rd and 4th rounder. I'm just accepting whatever we get offered. Lafreniere, you have been impossible to trade away, and honestly, Vince Dunn, I'm perfectly fine with having you on the team. I think you're going to be a great player. Very rarely do I ever have Vince Dunn on my team, so I'm happy to see he's joined the team today. So now that we've been able to move on from Lafreniere, it probably wouldn't hurt if we brought some young players to the team. So Quentin Musty and Bystead, both of you guys are going to be acquired. Brain Schneider and Zibanejad are going to be sent over to the San Jose Sharks. Truthfully, I just need somebody to take on Zibanejad's contract. And when it comes to his 29 team no trade, guess which 3 teams he's willing to go to? The Chicago Blackhawks, the Detroit Red Wings, and the San Jose Sharks. Who could have predicted that? Who would have thought that those 3 teams would be the ones he wants to go to, except for absolutely everybody? Like, seriously, it seems like the only 3 teams that players want to go to: the Chicago Blackhawks, the Detroit Red Wings, and the San Jose Sharks. Like, let's just take a quick look at Gavrikov. I gave him a 29 team no trade, so there's only 3 teams for him to go to. What are the odds? It's Chicago, Detroit, and San Jose. Wow, who could have predicted that one? Except for absolutely everybody. So here's what we're going to do. Gavrikov, I'll trade you away, and then I think I'll throw in a young prospect in this deal. Adam Sikora, you're going to be thrown into this one. We're going to get 2 prospects from the Red Wings. Basically, we just need to move on from Gavrikov's contract. Okay, I'm sorry, but at this point, you can't make this up. Chicago, Detroit, San Jose. It's literally only those 3 teams. So we're going to keep on making moves at the same 3 teams. San Jose, Detroit, and Chicago. Kurashev and a 4th round pick is going to be acquired. Stick on the ice legend Will Borgren's going to be given up in this deal. Honestly, this hurts me a little bit. Giving up a guy like Will Borgren, it's just not right. But on top of giving up Will Borgren, a lucrative 7th round pick as well, it's just not right. Not right whatsoever. Now we have to continue to build up the forward core because that's certainly the weak point on this team. So Cooley and a prospect are going to be sent over to Seattle. Jared McCann's going to be joining the team next. I think he can be a good 2nd line player for us. Maybe even potentially a 1st line player. I haven't really decided quite yet. We're going to have to throw another pick into this deal. So how about I give you Carolina 2nd? That should be more than enough, but they're rejecting that. Okay, what else do you need? I mean, we do have prospects we could move here. Maybe that's the move. Brett Berard, I'll throw you into this deal, and then hopefully you're going to make the difference. Can we walk away with Jared McCann? It looks like it. Now the forward core is still looking pretty rough. So Sam Carrot, Matt Rempe, and the 3rd round pick's going to be sent over to St. Louis. Dylan Holloway, I'm really hoping I can bring you to the team. Perfect. That's an amazing trade right there. But now it's time to pull off the big deal that I've wanted to pull off since the beginning of this video. We're moving over to the Buffalo Sabres, and I think you already know who I'm trading for. Okay, it turns out if we actually want to make a trade with the Buffalo Sabres, we need to do a 3-team trade first. Quentin Musty, I'm going to send you over to Calgary. We're getting a 1st and 2nd rounder. Now we're going to send that 1st and 2nd round pick along with Carolina's 1st over to the Buffalo Sabres. And what exactly are we going to be walking away with? Well, we're going to try to walk away with Tage Thompson. I think he'd be an amazing player on our top line. Imagine him, Lucas Raymond, and Cole Caulfield. No one would be able to stop that 1st line. They're going to be rejecting this package right here. That's perfectly fine. We have more 2nd rounders to throw into the deal. So here's Chicago's 2nd round pick for this upcoming season. Hopefully that's going to be enough. They're still saying no. If you don't accept this with Detroit's 2nd rounder, then we're just not doing this deal because this is more than enough for Tage Thompson. Nah, y'all got greedy. You should have accepted this. Look at the trade values. I'm offering more than enough. Now with the Tage Thompson deal falling through, I don't really know what to do moving forward. I was under the assumption that we were going to be walking away with him. Like 2 1st rounders and 3 2nd round picks, all of them having a lot of value was enough. Like, it's ridiculous. Hopefully we can walk away with Trevor Zegras for our 1st rounder, Bryson and Morrow. But of course the Philadelphia Flyers are going to say no to that. So I guess we have to give up some future picks. Maybe 2 3rd rounders can make the difference. Is this enough for Trevor Zegras and Bobby Brink? It looks like it. Apparently we gave them more than enough in that deal, but I don't really know how they see it that way. Now, I haven't shown you guys the last 3 trades I've made because they've just been shipping out AHL players. Like, this is basically what I'm doing. I'll pick up a 6th round pick from the Nashville Predators, and I will trade 4 AHL players away. And in this scenario, we're also throwing in 1 NHL player. Stick on the ice legend Euro Vakanainen, but we're getting a 6th round pick back in the deal. I'm not going to complain about this one. Basically, all we're doing is getting players off the books. Through making all those trades, there's only a few players left on the New York Rangers that we have to trade away. However, we do have to start picking up some studs because our top 6 really isn't looking that great. So we could use some more snipers in our top 6. So what we're looking to do is bring Connor Garland to the team. I am a little bit concerned with Connor Garland because if he turns out to be a below average goal scorer for us, we're going to be in trouble moving forward because he does have a no movement kicking in next season. But you know what? I'm not too worried about that. We will find a way to get this deal done, and we will find a way to turn Connor Garland into a stud. They're going to be rejecting this package right here. Maybe we just throw in multiple seconds. I'll give you the Chicago Blackhawks 2nd round pick as well, and that should be more than enough, but they're rejecting that. Okay, that's a little bit surprising. Like, I am giving you quite a bit in this deal. Like, look at the trade values. We're giving up more than enough, but it looks like Vancouver's finally going to be accepting. Now, of course, we know that our starting goaltender is going to be Igor Shesterkin, and we're going to be rocking him for a while. However, I think Schmid could be a good backup goaltender. They're going to say no to 1 7th-round pick, so I guess we have to throw in another. Here's a 7th-round pick from the Florida Panthers, and that's going to be more than enough to get Schmid. Now, on top of needing to bring in money to reach the cap floor, we also could use a couple more good forwards on the team. And Tolvanen and Kapokako, I think, can fill those roles. I think they can be some good players for us. We're giving up Carolina's 1st-round pick. I'm really hoping Carolina doesn't suck this season. I have no clue why they would suck, but in the event they do and that turns into a top 5 pick, that's going to be a tough look for us. Now, we have to make one final move before our team is officially rebuilt. We're going to trade a couple more prospects and some more picks over to the Nashville Predators. Nick Perbix and Matthew Weir are both going to be brought in. With this trade complete, we have traded everyone in the New York Rangers system, all their players in the NHL, all their players in the AHL, all their unsigned players. Everyone has been moved out except for Igor Shesterkin. He's the lone guy sticking around. So with all of the trades complete, here's the brand new New York Rangers team. Jaron McCann, Lucas Raymond, and Cole Caulfield on the top line. Connor Garland, Trevor Zegras, and Kapokako on the second line. We do have some really good bottom 6 scoring that I can't complain about. When it comes to the defense, Evanson and Vincent on the top pairing. Levshunov and Mason Lowry on the second pairing. And then Alex Vlasic and Nick Perbix on the third pairing. I really like what we have here. And then in between the pipes, of course, we still have Igor Shesterkin, the lone guy who has stepped up time and time again for the New York Rangers. This man deserves a Stanley Cup. He has gone through too much with the New York Rangers. There's been too much mismanagement, too much drama with this franchise. In reality, the only thing Igor Shesterkin wants to do is win games and win a Stanley Cup, and that's what we're going to do with him today. I don't expect this team's going to be winning in season number 1, but we're definitely setting ourselves up for the future. If we win a Stanley Cup in year number 1, I 1000% wouldn't be against that. I just can't imagine it happening. So what we're going to do is simulate up to the trade deadline, and then of course, make some moves accordingly. But I actually lied. There is one thing we have to do before we get to the trade deadline. We should probably hand out some extensions. Now, although there's not too many people that need to sign extensions, there are a couple players. One of those players being Evanson. He's looking for 4.8 for the next 4 years. That's an absolute steal in my eyes. And you know what? I might just give him 4.85 for the next 4 years. I think that's a very fair deal, so that's what we're going to do. Moving over to Dylan Holloway. Currently, he's not interested in signing an extension, and we do have him playing bottom 6 minutes, so I don't really want to commit 6.1 to him. Trevor Zegras, on the other hand, you are playing second line minutes for me. 6.9 does seem a little bit high, but I think we can get this down. And we might actually be able to get this down to like 5.8 million. I'll give you a no movement, and yeah, we're going to save some money here. Trevor Zegras, here's 5.6 million for the next 4 years. You're likely going to be accepting that one. He's actually going to accept immediately. That's perfect. And when it comes to everyone else, we're probably going to hold off with a lot of these guys. Like, I need to see how people perform here. I need to see what players' fits are. Matt Poitras, we actually might be able to keep you around because you only want $1 million, and I can definitely do $1 million for 1 season. But now that we've given out those extensions, we can simulate to the trade deadline. Now, I'm not too sure if I would say the New York Rangers are underperforming this season or just performing to expectations. Currently 17th in the entire league, a 30-25-6 record. I don't really know how to feel here. Like, our Rangers team on paper definitely isn't one of the best teams in the entire league. There's no surprise about that. Lucas Raymond is doing really good though, 62 points. Trevor Zegras 58, Jaron McCann 53. I think the main problem is we're just not scoring enough goals. I think our top goal scorers aren't finding the back of the net enough. I don't really know what big changes I'd want to make to this team though. I feel like from top to bottom we're really not that bad of a team. Maybe we just need to let the defensive core develop a little bit, because Levshunov, he's -5 right now, but we know in the future he's going to be a big time defenseman for us. I would expect by the beginning of next season he's up to at least an 85 overall. Right now he's only an 81, so we can only expect 81 overall type production from him. And then when it comes to a guy like Evanson, he's going to keep on improving. He's playing top line minutes. I expect he's going to be up to an 86, maybe an 87 by the beginning of next season. So I don't want to push too many panic buttons with this Rangers team quite yet. Igor Shesterkin, the numbers look great. 25 wins, 5 shots, a 912 and a 273. We need to start scoring goals in front of you, because these numbers should be good enough for more than 25 wins this season. So I'll take a quick look at a couple players' trade values. Maybe we're going to make some moves here, but I also wouldn't be overly surprised if we didn't do anything. Alright, so I'm cooking something up here. Connor Garland sent over to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Denton Mateychuk and a first-round pick is going to be brought in. They're going to be rejecting that deal, but it's perfectly fine. I'll give you a 6th-round pick from Utah, and this should be enough to get this deal done. Perfect. So what we're going to do is head over to the Buffalo Sabres, and guess who we're going to try to trade for? for? Well, of course, it's going to be Tage Thompson. So we're going to give up Columbus's first round pick. We're going to give up Morgan Geekie as well because he's currently playing bottom 6 minutes for me. And truthfully, I'd rather have Tage Thompson playing top 6 minutes than having Morgan Geekie play bottom 6 minutes. So hopefully this package is going to be enough. That was very easy. So we brought Tage Thompson to the team. So we're going to be changing up our forward lines a little bit. The top line is going to be Tage Thompson, Cole Caulfield, and Lucas Raymond. They're going to light the lamp. We're then going to have Jared McCann, Trevor Zegras, and somebody else on our second line. I haven't quite decided who that's going to be, but we're going to find somebody that can fill the role. Now, what I'm about to do might be arguably the stupidest thing I've ever done. Based on past experiences, this player has never stepped up for me. He has never stepped up for me once. But this will be the time he does. Svechnikov, don't let me down. You have let me down 8 million times so far. This will be the one time you don't let me down. You're going to score goals on our second line. You're going to be a key player for us. I am very concerned with that deal. I think it might be a huge risk that it's not worth taking, but we just brought in 2 guys that are known for scoring goals. Whether they score goals for me, that's a different question. Okay, hold on. Before we simulate the rest of this season, I just want to point something out. So goals for per game, we're currently 7th. Goals against per game, we're currently 4th. Our power play percentage is 7th, and our penalty kill is 8th. Therefore, we're currently sitting 17th in the entire league. How does that math work? We are top 10 in basically every category so far, but we're 17th in the entire league with a 30, 25, and 6 record. I think we've just been getting unlucky, because based on those numbers right there, how on earth are we this bad? But I think the New York Rangers are better than what their record shows. Like right now, we are in the postseason, 9th in the entire league, a 43, 29, 10 record, but we do have a really good offense, and we have a really good defense. So why did we not see more success during the regular season? I couldn't tell you. We had the 5th best offense, and when it comes to our defense, I believe our defense was one of the best in the entire league. It was the 3rd best. So the 5th best offense, 3rd best defense, 9th in the entire league, because that just makes sense. Trevor Zegras, 80 points this season. He was pretty solid. Lucas Raymond, 78. Svechnikov, I just want to see how many goals you scored with me. Did you step it up when I brought you to the team? 12 goals and 11 assists. I never thought I would see the day. He started shooting 19%. Ladies and gentlemen, history has been made. This might be the first time in history I've ever traded for Svechnikov, and he actually stepped up for me, and he didn't just completely fall off a cliff. Like, there was one time I remember that Svechnikov was shooting 16% during the season, so I decided to trade for him. He finished the season out shooting 4%. I have never seen Svechnikov actually step it up for me. This never happens. Tage Thompson, I guess you didn't score goals this season. Like, you scored 0 goals. You picked up 2 goals once you joined our team. This is what normally happens with Svechnikov. But I guess today it's going to be happening with Tage Thompson. But that's beside the point. He was still a great player for our top 6. The New York Rangers are looking pretty strong right now. The goaltending's looking amazing. Igor Shesterkin, 35 wins, 6 shouts, a 916, a 262. I'm very excited for our first postseason run because I think we can do some damage. And who do we get to do that damage against? Well, we're starting off against the Carolina Hurricanes. So we get the Carolina Hurricanes in the first round, a team that we made a trade with at the trade deadline. We took Svechnikov away from them, and I honestly forget who we gave them. Maybe it was Connor Garland, maybe it was Jared McCann. There was a handful of guys we traded away at the deadline. I don't even remember where everyone went. All I know is Svechnikov's on our team, and he's scoring goals. We're exchanging the first 2 games, so it's a best of 5 moving forward. Game number 3 is a big one, and unfortunately, we're going to be dropping that one. Hopefully, we're not dropping game 4. Okay, things are not looking good for us. Although I think this team is really good, we're not stepping up when it matters, and just like that, we lost 4 in a row. We allowed a lot of goals in this series. Yeah, we didn't really do too much. I had very high expectations for our New York Rangers team. They then proceeded to do absolutely nothing for me. Cole Caulfield, 5 points. Kurashev, 5 points. Dylan Holloway, 4 points. Yeah, I don't know what to say here. I'm a little bit disappointed with the team. I was honestly expecting way more from them. Igor Shesterkin, he had a goals against a 5. Enough said. So the Tampa Bay Lightning are going on to win the Stanley Cup. So Carolina didn't even win the Cup. So the New York Rangers clearly weren't ready. It's not like we lost to the best team in the NHL. That hurts. That hurts quite a bit. The Philadelphia Flyers just got the 2nd overall pick from the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm pretty sure when I made that trade, I said that trade is going to look really bad if that pick ends up being incredibly elite. And that's exactly what happened. It turned out to be the 2nd overall. That's a tough look. Also, the Columbus Blue Jackets pick that we traded for and sent over to Buffalo, well, that turned out to be the 12th overall. We did not make a lot of great trades. I can tell you that for free. Now, I took a bit of a flyer on this prospect right here. I was kind of hoping thinking he'd have medium elite potential. Unfortunately, he didn't. However, he's starting off as an 80 overall. So we just drafted an 80 overall player in the first round. This guy actually might be really good for us. I think I'm going to give him one more season to develop before he jumps onto the team, but he could be a really good player for us in the future. And it looks like that player in the first round is not going to be the only good player we're walking away with, because we're going to draft a low elite potential player 150th overall. So we're moving into the re-sign phase with $17 million to work with. Re-sign players is going to be pretty easy. Dylan Holloway, you're the first guy I'm bringing back to the team. You're now playing some top 6 minutes, and at $4.5 million, I think that's an absolute steal. Bobby Brink, I'm thinking I'm going to qualify you as an RFA because you're probably looking for too much, but then again, 2.7 is not crazy, and 2.5 is even better than that, so you're going to be returning as well. Tolvanen, I'm hoping we can do a cheap deal with you. You want almost $4 million. I think we're going to let you walk. Kurashev, I'd like to do a cheap contract with you. You're only looking for 1 season, so I can overpay a little bit. Here's $2.8 million. And then Dallor Nielsen, I'm assuming I can do a 2-way contract with you, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So the only guy leaving the team here is going to be Tolvanen. I'm perfectly fine with that. I guess I should worry about goaltending a little bit. Kosa, I'll give you a 1-year extension. I think you're going to play in the AHL for 1 more season. And then Schmidt, you can be my backup for 1 more season, but maybe not, because $2.3 million is quite a bit for our backup, and I don't really want to do that, so we're going to hold off with you. So after spending some money during the re-sign phase, it's now time to hand out extensions. We're going to start with Vince Dunn, and he's looking for $12.1 million, but I'm pretty sure we can save some money here. So how about we do $10.2 for the next 4 seasons? I think that's a great contract. We're almost saving about $2 million on your asking price. Mason Lowry, I can do maybe $4 million. You want 5.2. How about 4.8? I think 4.8 is a good deal for us. I'm not 100% sure if you'd be willing to accept that. What if I give you a modified no trade? I'll give you a modified no trade with 36% team protection. That should be enough to convince you to join the team. Perbix, more than likely you're going to be walking. Denton Matejchuk, I would like to keep you on the team, but it has to be the right price, and this is certainly the right price. 1.9 for the next 3. There are a couple other guys we have to re-sign. Matthew Wood and Levshunov are the 2 guys I'm looking at. Levshunov's only an 80 overall right now, so I am a little bit concerned with his development, but for $2.2 million, I'm not going to worry too much. Even if he only turns out to be a 3rd pairing guy for us, at that price tag, it's not too bad. And then Matthew Wood, I like what you did on the bottom 6 last season, so here's 1.5 for the next 3. So we went ahead and spent some money. We do have to sign a couple players, but I don't think we have to worry about spending too much money here. The main thing we have to do is bring in a backup goaltender, but that's not going to cost us too much. Like, how about we bring in Brandon Bussey for $1.9 million? He's an 82 overall. That's a great backup goaltender if you ask me. And then with the remaining $7 million we have, we can bring in somebody for 1 season. Who is that player going to be? Anders Lee, I guess you could play some bottom 6 minutes, but I'm not too sure if I want to do that. Evander Kane, you have good organizational interest and you're only looking for $5.3 million. Do I want to bring Evander Kane to the team? I'm not really too sure. But you know what? Evander Kane is one of our best options, so maybe we just have to go with him because of that. So Evander Kane, I guess I can sign you for 1 season. Can we do like $5 million or something? How about I do $5 million with a no movement? I think that's a pretty fair deal. He'll check back with us in a couple days and then we'll see what he's thinking. The other thing we're going to do during free agency is I'm just going to sign a handful of guys that have decent potential. We need somebody playing in the AHL for us. So Adam Beckman, how about you play some AHL minutes for me? Now we're going to make 1 trade before we head into next season. Perbix and Ryan Donato are going to be sent over to the Islanders. Heineman's going to be brought in because I think he can be a good bottom 6 player for us. But you know who else can be a good bottom 6 player? Holmstrom. So both of them are joining the team on top of George. He can be a good depth defenseman for us. More than likely he's just going to be an AHL defenseman. But regardless of where he plays on this team, I think this is a good trade. So I really like what the New York Rangers are turning into. We're basically running the exact same team as last season, except a lot of the guys have improved. Lucas Raymond's a 91 overall, Cole Caulfield's a 90, Trevor Zegras is an 89, Evander Kane's jumping into the top 6. The bottom 6 is looking really strong. Maybe we could use a better centerman here, but I'm not too concerned when it comes to that. I mean, truthfully, if we want to fix our center problem, just move Dylan Holloway to center, and then we have fixed our center problem just like that, and I actually think we're going to do that. Igor Shesterkin, of course, is still in between the pipes. We have a great team in front of you, but yeah, let's change up these lines slightly. How about we do something like this? Then we have Dylan Holloway playing center, then our center depth isn't that weak. Kurashev, you play on the left wing, which is your secondary position. There we go. We solved all of our problems. Also, I'm actually going to take Matt Poitras out of the lineup and throw Matthew Wood in instead. We don't need 2 playmakers on the 4th line. A guy like Matthew Wood actually might fit this role pretty well. So the New York Rangers are looking pretty good. We're hoping to build on what we saw last season, or at least what we saw last season during the regular season. We're going to forget about what happened during the playoffs. Now, I was expecting that the New York Rangers would be slightly better this season. They've actually let me down quite a bit. Okay, where is this team? 14th in the entire league with a 34, 24-4 record. I thought we were better than this. I really did. 3.08 goals per game certainly isn't good enough. 2.61 is amazing when it comes to goals allowed, but our offense, not quite good enough here. We need to change something up. I don't know what we have to change up, but we got to get the offense going. I think part of the problem is the fact that Evander Kane is currently leading us in goal scoring with 23 goals. That shouldn't be the case when you have Cole Caulfield and Tage Thompson on the team, but it seems like everyone is having career low shooting percentages right now. Like, look at how many players have a shooting percentage above 10. We have Svechnikov, he's at 10%, but he's only scored 14 goals. We have Hyman, who's at 13.3%. We have Holmstrom at 18.8%, but he's only taken 64 shots. The players who have the highest shooting percentages right now are the players who have taken the fewest amount of shots, and that makes sense to an extent. However, when it comes to our top players like Cole Caulfield and Tage Thompson, yeah, they gotta start shooting better than 9%. 9.2% for both these guys just isn't good enough right now. When it comes to goaltending, Igor Shesterkin's doing everything he can. 23 wins, 2 shots, a 917 to 259. He should have more than 23 wins at this point. We gotta change something up. We gotta get the offense rolling. I think in order to get the offense rolling, Evander Kane, you're gonna move down to the third line. Dylan Holloway, you're moving up to the second line. Something about Evander Kane playing second line minutes for us just isn't working out right now. Okay, I guess the real question is Dylan Holloway or Capo Caco? Who do we move into the top 6? Capo Caco might score some more goals. Maybe he would have a better fit in our top 6. But when Dylan Holloway was in the top 6 last season, he actually performed pretty well. You know what? We're going to play a little bit risky. Capo Caco, I'm going to move you into the top 6. Svechnikov, I'm going to move you over to the left wing. We're going to move Evander Kane down to the second line. We'll figure out the line combinations, but we're going to make some changes. I don't think we're going to make any trades here. We're going to stick with what we have. Truthfully, I think all we have to do is change up the line combinations and then we'll be fine. Now, I've changed up the line combinations, but there is one other thing we have to do. We have to hand out some extensions. Heineman's looking for 4.2 million, and you know what? I don't hate this, because there's a chance that you play top 6 minutes for us moving forward. You've looked pretty good this season, so I'll give you 4.1 million. I don't know if that's the right decision. Holmstrom, we're probably going to hold off with your extension because you want 4.2 million. Yeah, we got to try to save money somewhere. Matt Poitras, 800k for the next 2. That's an absolute steal. And I think as of right now, those are the only extensions we're going to worry about. I mean, we could re-sign Kosa as well. 800k for the next 2 as an 80 overall. I think that's an amazing contract. Now, out of all things to hold the New York Rangers back this season, I didn't think it would be offense. I really expected our defense, if anything, to hold us back, but it was really the offense. We actually ended up having one of the best defenses in the league. It might have been the best defense, and it was. We had the best defense in the entire league. Our offense is what was holding us back. Our offense took a big step back from last season, but maybe things will change in the postseason. Maybe once we get to the postseason, then we'll start figuring things out. But something about our offense this season I'm just not liking. Cole Caulfield shot 8% this season. Tage Thompson shot 8.9%. What were y'all doing? Like, respectfully, you guys should be lighting the lamp together. I don't know why you were a disappointment this season. Maybe Mike Sullivan just isn't the answer for this team. Maybe we have to move on from him. I'd prefer to stick with Mike Sullivan, but something about this team just isn't right now. We are clearly missing something, whether it's a guy on our bottom 6, maybe a new player in the top 6, maybe changing up the coaching staff. Something about this team right now just isn't right. And if I'm being honest here, 99.9% of the time, if things aren't going right for you, it's because of your head coach. So Mike Sullivan, maybe you just don't have a good fit with the team. Maybe you're not the right coach for the team we have here, so we might be moving on from Mike Sullivan. Even though I think he's one of the best coaches in the league, I think we have to move on from him. We've lost the first 2 games. We're going to lose to the Islanders. Nothing more really needs to be said. I can't imagine we're going to make the comeback here unless we win back-to-back games, but we're not doing that. We're down 3-1. We have a big hill to climb, but I can't imagine we're going to be able to climb that hill. With that being said, we did win game number 5. Now all we have to do is win game number 6, and then we'll be in game 7, but that's not going to be happening. We're dropping game 6 3-2, and we're going to be eliminated in the first round once again. So it's a first round exit for the New York Rangers once again. I think we have to bring in a new head coach. Mike Sullivan, you're amazing, but I just don't think you're the right fit for us. Now, to finish out the playoffs, the Dallas Stars are going to go on to win the Stanley Cup. They're going to sweep the Tampa Bay Lightning, the team that won the Stanley Cup last season. When it comes to our Rangers, it just wasn't good enough. Plain and simple. The offense wasn't good. The defense wasn't good. Nothing about this team was really too good during the playoffs. But as I've mentioned a million times so far, we know what we have to do over the offseason. We have to bring in a new head coach. Now, unfortunately, the draft wasn't nearly as successful as last season, but if you want me to sum it up, with our very first pick, we got a medium top 6 potential grinder. So yeah, what more has to be said? Now, although we have $14 million in cap space, I don't think we're going to really use too much here. Evander Kane, I'm going to let you leave the team. You weren't really helping us too much. Holmstrom, I would like to keep you around on the bottom 6, and at this price tag, it's not terrible. 3.1 million for the next 3 seasons. Kurashev, if I can sign you for like 2.5 on a 1-year deal, keep you around, but 4.1 is crazy. You're not returning. And then when it comes to a handful of the young guys, we're just looking at 2-way contracts. Now, we made through the re-sign phase without having to spend a bunch of money, but I think we have to spend all that money right now. Capo Caco, you want 8.2 million? I'm not doing that, so we're going to move on from Capo Caco. Dylan Holloway, how much is your extension going to be? 5.3 million isn't too bad. What if we did multiple years? I can do 5.4 million for 2 years, and then I'll even give you a modified no trade. And I think if we do that, we'll actually be able to save a little bit more money. Maybe we can get this down to 5.1 million. If you're going to play a top 6 role for me, I'm fine with giving you this money. $5 million for the next 2. So he's going to be returning. Capo Caco, we might end up trading you away. Bobby Brink, I don't know how much money you're going to be looking for. $2 million is an 84 overall. I don't think I can say no to that. Nygaard, I guess I can give you an extension as well. I think we're just going to be keeping everyone around. I think we will try to make some trades though. But on top of making trades, we do have to change up the coaching staff. Now I think I know how to improve our top 6. Mark Stone, we're bringing you in for 1 season, 8.8 million. I need you to be a good second line player for me. And if you can fill that second line role, then I think we'll be in an amazing spot. Outside of bringing in Mark Stone, I really don't think we're going to do too much. Capo Caco, I'm probably going to have you play bottom 6 minutes. You're either going to play bottom 6 minutes or I'm going to trade you away. I haven't really decided. I think more than likely I'm going to end up trading you away here, and I'm going to trade you for a playmaker or a sniper. I think regardless of what happens here, we're trading Capo Caco. We just need to find somebody to replace him. Alright, so here's what I'm looking at. Capo Caco and Nygaard sent over to the Edmonton Oilers. We bring in Matt Savoy. He's under contract for 2 more seasons, but I think he could be a good bottom 6 player for us. I don't think this is quite enough, but we do have picks we can throw into the deal. Once we trade for Matt Savoy, we're likely not going to be making any more deals. This second round pick should be enough, and it looks like it's more than enough. So Matt Savoy, welcome to the team. We don't need to make any more moves. We're ready for next season. But once again, we didn't do too much over the offseason. However, we did bring in Mark Stone. We did bring in Matt Savoy, and we changed up the coaching staff a little bit. We're running it back 1 more season with Mike Sullivan because I'm not quite ready to give up on him yet. He's still an A overall coach, and he's offensive oriented, and that's what we need on this team. We need a coach that's offensive oriented if we want to start scoring goals. Levshunov, you also get 1 more season with the team. If you don't take the next step moving forward, I will be trading you away because you're only up to an 83. I was thinking by this point you'd be an 87 overall, but clearly that's not the case. Igor Shesterkin, I'm going to continue to try to put a good team in front of you. You've been holding up your end of the bargain, except in the postseason, because once we get to the postseason, we completely collapse and you completely collapse. But then again, I can't really point the finger at one guy. We're not good offensively in the postseason. We're not good defensively. Clearly, we have a lot of problems still. But with our new coaching staff, I believe we've solved a lot of those problems. I'm expecting this team to take the next step this season, and if we don't, we might have to clear house again. Now, I've lost all faith in Mike Sullivan. He's going to be fired next season. We're not bringing him back to the team. The New York Rangers still can't score goals. I don't know why this team is struggling so much to score goals. I mean, 3.37 is better than last season, and 2.76 seems like a very good defense. Okay, hold on. Let's just wait a minute here. We have the 3rd best offense in the entire league. When it comes to our defense is 6th in the entire league. We have the 3rd best offense, the 6th best defense, and we're 15th in the entire league. Why does this team not win games? Like, I'm actually genuinely confused about this. Like, we have a really good offense and a really good defense. Why are we not seeing more success? But something about this Rangers team just isn't right, and Mike Sullivan, I have to point the finger at you. You're the guy that has to face the blame here because something's not right. Something's also wrong with our second line. Like, our second line's just not looking too good. So Svechnikov, maybe it's time for me to move on from you. It might be time for us to finally move on from Svechnikov. Although he is scoring goals for us, we're not seeing success with him on the second line. Also, I guess it wouldn't hurt if we took a look at Igor Shesterkin's numbers. His numbers look not bad. 28 wins, 3 shots, a 911 and a 277. But something about this team just isn't right so far. We are missing something here. I don't know what it is, but I think we have to get risky and we got to make a tough trade. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. Mason Lohrei and Svechnikov are both going to be sent over to the LA Kings. Brant Clark's going to be brought in because I think we could use an offensive defenseman. And we're also going to be bringing in Kem Fiala. Kem Fiala's going to be able to score some goals on the second line. But I don't think this is going to be the only trade we make. I also think we should be able to get a couple draft picks back. I'm going to ask for 2 second rounders. I don't think we'll get 2 second rounders, but we should be able to at least get 1 second round pick in this deal, but maybe not. Maybe we're just going to be going 2 for 2. We have to shake things up a little bit here, and I think this is a good move for us. Alright, so we're going to try to pull off one more huge deal. Trevor Zegras, Dylan Holloway, and a 1st round pick sent over to Utah. Logan Cooley and Iginla, welcome to the team. So we just made 2 massive deals. We brought in 4 big time players for us. Hopefully this is going to make the difference. So here's what the roster is going to look like moving forward. Tage Thompson, Logan Cooley, and Cole Caulfield on the top line. Lucas Raymond, Iginla, and Kevin Fiala on the second line. Bobby Brink, Matt Savoy, and Mark Stone. You can't tell me this team's not going to score goals. We're going to score goals. We're going to keep the puck out of the net, and we're going to win a Stanley Cup. Like seriously, I don't know why we're not winning more games. Like I have built some pretty solid teams so far. They just don't seem to win games. I don't know what it is. Like we have a good defense and we have a good offense, but somehow it's not resulting in wins. Now New York, I'm happy to say you stepped it up big time to finish out the season. 6th in the entire league with a 50-30-2 record. We were one of the best teams after the trade deadline. 3.45 goals per game, 2.62 allowed, one of the best offensive and one of the best defensive. This team has figured it out. Tage Thompson, 79 points, Lucas Raymond, 72 points, Cole Caulfield, 65, Kevin Fiala, 64. We're scoring goals now. That's the big problem we've had in the past. We haven't been able to score goals. We've let down Igor Shesterkin. He has always put up good numbers, except once we get to the postseason. That's when everything falls apart for this team. But this is the best we've ever looked heading into the postseason, so I can only imagine we're going to lose in the first round in 7 games. That's my prediction. Although things look incredible for this team right now, watch them completely collapse in the first round. I don't care how good we have looked in the last 15 to 20 games, everything falls apart right here. This is going to be a disaster and I already know it. We're dropping game number 1. Who could have seen that coming? Luckily, we are responding in game number 2. Game 3 is probably the most important one. We need to find a way to win that game, and that's what we're doing. Win me game 3 as well, and that's exactly what we're doing. So we're moving on to game number 5. If we can win game 5, then we're going to win this series. All we need is one more victory. Can the Rangers find that victory? Yes, they can, and they're moving on to the second round. So the Rangers are advancing to the second round, and who are we going to be taking on? Well, it looks like it's going to be the Boston Bruins. Regardless of who we have to take on the second round, it's going to be a tough matchup. So with Boston being here, we have to assume that they're a pretty solid team, and it looks like they're taking the first 2 games away from us. It better not be the first 3 games. We better not get swept, but instead we're winning back-to-back games. We've tied this series up. It's a best of 3 moving forward. Our defense has been elite for the past couple games, but it looks like that's falling apart in game number 5. We're dropping a very important game 5. Now we have to win game 6 in order to force game 7. So New York, I need you to lock in here. I need the Rangers to play the best hockey they've ever played, but I'm not too sure if we're going to get that based on what we've seen in the first period. Moving into the second, this one's over. Yep, we lost 5-1. Where was the offense? For a team that's supposed to be known for their offense, the Rangers do not score that many goals. So the Carolina Hurricanes are going to go on to win the Stanley Cup, taking down the Dallas Stars. We have to find a way to start scoring during the postseason. I don't know why we can't find the back of the net in the postseason, but that has been one of this team's issues for a long time. We just seem to collapse when the lights are the brightest. And you know who else seems to collapse when the lights are the brightest? Igor Shesterkin, but he didn't this time. 6 wins, 1 shutout, a 919, a 242. These are pretty solid numbers. These are numbers we should be able to win with, except when our offense completely dries up. Then I need you to post a 940 and a 180. But you know what? I like what we saw after the trade deadline, and if we can build on that moving forward, I believe the Rangers can be Stanley Cup champs next season. Now, unfortunately, once again, the draft is going to be very disappointing for us. However, we're not drafting any grinders this time, so I guess that is a positive. Now, I don't think we have to worry too much about any extensions that have to be handed out. Mark Stone's not going to be coming back to the team. We'll hand out maybe 2 or 3 two-way contracts. Other than that, we're not doing anything during the re-sign phase. I mean, I will sign a couple rookies. I will do that. But outside of that, don't expect us to do too much. Now, when it comes to handing out extensions, I'm not really too worried about the RFAs right now. We're going to focus on the UFAs, one of those being Kevin Fiala. We want to make sure he's returning to this team. So we'll do $7.5 million for the next 3 seasons. Actually, I'll make that $7.6 million for the next 3. So Kevin Fiala is going to be returning to the team. Iginla, I do want to keep you around as well. I know you're an RFA, but this honestly isn't too bad of a deal. We're going to get this down to $6 million with a no movement in that final season. We're going to save some big money with Iginla. A 6x6 with him, that's an incredible deal. Lev Shanov, I can't imagine you're going to be looking for too much money. You want $5.8 million. I guess I can give that to you. I know you're an RFA as well, but I do want to make sure you're sticking around, so we'll do a 5x5 with Lev Shanov. And truthfully, when it comes to everyone else, if you're not willing to sign a 2-way contract, we'll deal with you at a later time. Like Savoy, I don't really know how much you're looking for. $7.2 million. I'm 100% not doing that. And then Hyndman, honestly, don't be surprised if you leave the team. So we'll hand out a couple 2-way contracts, and I think we're just going to run it back. We're not going to make any moves over the offseason. There's nothing really to improve on our team. Also, Patra, here's 1.1. Now, the New York Rangers have been through some dark times over the last couple of years. We haven't seen a lot of postseason success, but I believe that changes this season. After the trade deadline last year, we were one of the best teams in the entire league, and I think we're ready to take over now. The offense looks great, the defense looks great, and goaltending looks great. Igor Shesterkin, it's finally time for you to win your Stanley Cup. You're 32 years old, you've dropped to exact elite potential. We don't have too much time left with you. Now, it finally happened. The New York Rangers have finally figured it out. After years of disappointment, this team has figured it out. A 45-12-5 record, 3.6 goals per game, 2.4 allowed. We're ready to win a Stanley Cup. We have been through years of disappointment to get to this point, and now that we're here, there is no turning back. No more turning back. It's time for us to win a Stanley Cup, and it's time for Igor Shesterkin to get his first. Now, the Rangers are going to finish as the best team in the NHL, first with a 58-19-5 record, but we can't sleep on the Minnesota Wild or Toronto Maple Leafs or even the Dallas Stars. There's a lot of really good teams in the NHL right now, so we better be prepared for the postseason. No team is going to make it easy on us. Every round should be very competitive. Cole Caulfield, I'm going to need you to continue to light the lamp. Lone Cooley, you have to continue to play at this elite level. Tage Thompson, Lucas Raymond, Brant Clark, Kevin Fiala, you guys know what you have to do. And when it comes to goaltending, Igor Shesterkin, if you put up regular season numbers in the postseason, then we'll win a Stanley Cup. You usually take a bit of a step back once the playoffs come around. However, I think part of the reason for that is the team in front of you. The team around you doesn't usually step up. Well, things are different this time. This is the best team you see in front of you, so I'm expecting the best results. Now, New York, you've let the fans down multiple times, and you have let me down multiple times. No more letting anyone down. It's time for you guys to lock in and start winning some games. Can we simulate game number 1? Okay, I actually would have preferred if we didn't simulate game number 1, so I didn't have to see that game number 1 loss. Luckily, we are going to be responding in game 2. You better win game number 3. We can't drop that game. Let's take a 3-1 series lead. Perfect. Everything's looking good for the Rangers right now. All we have to do is win one more game, and then we can move on to the second round. It shouldn't be too difficult. All we have to do is win one of the next 3, and it looks like we're winning the first. So we're moving on to the second round, and now we get to take on the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, I don't really recall what Philly's record was, but if they're making it to the second round, I can only assume they're a pretty solid team. We're dropping game number 1 and game number 2. Why am I not surprised? Luckily, we will respond in game 3. Can we win game number 4 as well? Perfect. We've bounced back from the early disappointment. It's a best of 3 moving forward, with game number 5 being the most important. We need to win that one, and we're on a bit of a winning streak right now. We've now won 3 games in a row. Can we make it 4? It doesn't look like it. We have game 7 coming up. Game 7 is going to decide this series. If we can take down the Philadelphia Flyers, we're moving on to the conference finals, but it's not going to be easy. We're exchanging goals in the first period. Moving into the second, it looks like it's going to be a scoreless one. Can the Rangers wake up in the third period and score some goals for me? It doesn't look like it, but neither did the Philadelphia Flyers, so we're off to overtime. Igor Shesterkin has been amazing in this game. Can he make a couple more saves? It looks like it. Cole Caulfield's picking up the OT winner. We're moving on to the conference finals. The Rangers aren't done yet. Now, New York, you can't look back. You can't start looking back now. You've made it to the conference finals. This is the furthest you've made it with Igor Shesterkin, or at least the furthest you've made with Igor Shesterkin in this video. Now it's time for you guys to lock in. I need you to win a couple more games, but it's not going to be easy. But maybe it actually will be easy. We are 1 game away from moving on, and we're moving on just like that. We just took down the Tampa Bay Lightning in 5 games. They were one of the best teams in the entire league, but I guess they weren't quite good enough. So it all comes down to this matchup right here. 7 games against the Minnesota Wild. Can we find a way to beat the Minnesota Wild? Well, right now we have a 3-1 series lead. We are 1 game away from winning the Stanley Cup, and the Rangers did it. They are Stanley Cup champions once again, and Igor Shesterkin, you finally get to lift that cup with the Rangers. The Rangers have disappointed you for a long time now, but not anymore. The Rangers are finally doing it. Stanley Cup champions. Tage Thompson, 13 goals. Lucas Raymond, 11. Logan Cooley, 6. Cole Caulfield, you kind of sucked in the goal scoring department, but you had 23 points in 22 games, so why am I going to complain? Everyone on the team stepped up big time, even a Ginla who's picking up 8 goals and 15 points, but when it comes to goaltending, there is one man we can always rely on, Igor Shesterkin. 16 wins, a 909 and a 274. I'm a little surprised we won with these numbers, and I'm surprised your numbers weren't better. But you know what? At the end of the day, who really cares what the goals against and save percentage is? The only number I care about is the number we see in the wins column, and that is 16 wins. 16 wins in the playoffs means we won the Stanley Cup, and that's what Igor Shesterkin did with the New York Rangers. I gave him the team that he deserved. This is the team that Igor Shesterkin deserves, a team that can perform in front of him, and a team that's going to allow him to win a Stanley Cup, and that's what everyone on this team did today.